I made one of the most embarrassing videos to mankind, and you can tell that I don't really have a single care in the world. But it wasn't always like that. I was told that I had anger issues, I was too shy, or even I could never succeed in any entrepreneurship idea that I had. I couldn't really handle my feelings well, and I would just end up building it up and leashing it out on the people close to me. Similar to how victims of bullying would turn and inflict pain on others. I really wanted to be the nice, caring, and happy, ambitious man I am, and not care what anyone else has to say about me. But it felt like something was in the way. That every time I tried to not care, with these mental strategies, these breathing strategies, I couldn't do it. I cared too much about someone else's opinion, someone else's insult, someone else's criticism. It was like I was scared of being called a pussy, a doormat, a B word if I didn't fight back. If I didn't argue back, I'm a bitch. It wasn't until I finally realized that the real enemy was never the person who ridiculed me in the first place. It was myself. When I was told that I could never be successful because of my failed businesses, my horrible YouTube videos, some people laughed. Some people said I couldn't do it. And for the longest time, I became reluctant to make another TikTok or YouTube video because I didn't want to get another hate comment or another message from my friend or someone who I've never talked to. Why are you making this? This is so cringe or whatever. And I was just so tired of hearing these things. So then I completely gave up. I gave up, and just as I was giving up, something changed. A particular experience changed that gave me the very reason that you're watching this video now, the very reason I made this video, and the very reason that I don't care what anyone else has to say about me forever. Because genuinely, before this particular experience, I don't know if it was a fate from God, I was ready to give up on almost everything. My dreams, my ambitions, I really thought that they were just a waste of time. And it all started when I was overseas and I have this auntie who was willing to give us reading. Now me personally, I never really believed in readings at that point, but I was willing to hear out anyone who was going to say that I was successful, someone who would fulfill my ego and finally give me the support that I really wanted to hear. Someone to say, oh, what you're doing is right, someone to say that I would succeed. So that day, everyone sat down, our auntie sat down, my family sat down, my mom and dad sat down, everyone sat down. And we were all asking questions, what will happen if I grow older? What will happen if I take this job? And she answered flawlessly for everyone. And then I asked these 3 questions because I thought that I was gonna get the same reaction. Will I ever become successful? I'm lighting up a bit. Will I ever get the dream job that I want? I'm really excited at this point. Hopefully she'll say something nice about me like she did with everyone else. And then I'm like, will I ever make money? She even looked at my face. No reading. She said no and then laughed. Like I was some kid with like a dream of becoming an astronaut. That's the kind of laugh I mean. It was like my dream was just funny to her. I've had so much ridicule to this point. Like, it was like my dream was just funny to everyone who's laughed at me. But at this point, something changed. Although I felt embarrassed that she laughed at me in front of my whole family, like my dreams was just nothing. Although I was in the car complaining the entire time on the way back and that I was gonna prove this auntie wrong. Although I was crushed that knowing no one would ever come up to me and say that my dreams would become true. The following days after this particular experience, it gave me time to finally reflect and gave me the realization to why I cared, the sole reason why I cared so much about other people's opinion. Like when someone said I was ugly, I cared heavily. When someone said I couldn't be successful, I was annoying, I cared so much about it. And I'd always sit there wondering why it affected me so much. Then it clicked. I realized that deep inside, all these comments, opinions, all of them have truth to them. And I sat there and I was like, you know what? It's true. My videos are genuinely ass. I'm never gonna succeed on YouTube, be this YouTuber that I want if I'm gonna keep producing these type of videos. It was true that I was kind of ugly, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I grew out my hair for no reason and I thought putting a bunch of rings and necklaces made me drippy. I wasn't. It was like I finally woke up. These people were right. I wasn't even putting 100% in my videos, so what am I expecting? Like 40,000 views in one horrible video? Like, what am I expecting? A gold medal, a certificate, a praise for my mommy? Like, then every day from that day, whenever someone said something that would usually affect me, I just didn't care anymore. Because I learned 2 things out of that experience that became so rewarding. The first one is to realize that sometimes it's the brutal honest that you need to hear. Whenever I hear these opinions said about me, I actually sit there and reflect if it's something I can change. If it's like my eczema's flaring, my acne's, all that, then yeah, maybe I need to go home, do some skincare. It's like a wake up calling every time. It's a brutal honest that you need to hear. If you're gonna spend your time there being angry about it, then you are really just proving their point. Change it so they will never make fun of you for the same thing again. And the second thing that I learned was to be secure in yourself. Now, if someone is clearly making fun of you, something you can't change, like you're too short or my nose is too big, you might start defending yourself because you don't want to be called a B-word or a pussy. Then that just shows that you are insecure in yourself. It showed that you lacked love in those areas in the first place. For example, when I was in a tutoring place, it was like around snack time and I went to grab my bag. Oh, Zip opened it up, grabbed the dry squid. You know, dry squid is one of my favorite snacks, I'm not gonna lie, it's so good. I picked it up, opened the Ziploc bag, and as soon as I opened it, the teacher, yes, the teacher, said,
"What's that smell?"
And then everyone else, all the kids tagged along like, "Ew, what's the smell?" And I was like, and I quickly closed the Ziploc bag with my dry squid, shoved it back in my bag, zipped it back up, and I started becoming like that, like, ew, who put that? I was ashamed. I was embarrassed because I cared about what everyone else to say. And then I went home that day. I pulled out the snack from my bag. I was eating it and I realized how dumb this whole thing was. This is so stupid. Like, why would I care so much what others had to say about my snack? So the next day, I went back to the tutoring place. I pulled out some really Asian snack. Like, you can probably smell it and it's really obvious. I became proud of it. I went to all my friends, you know, with the snack and I'm like, oh, have some, have some, have some. If some kid hated it, the smell, like that one, I don't know, that weird kid in the back, take the L. You know, I was actually so proud of it to the point anyone who cared meant nothing to me. You need to start being proud with the things that you can't change. If you really love dry squid, then eat that. And some things you can't change and at the end of the day, you have to love it and be proud of it. Because the final message I want to let you know is just be a little bit more selfish. Because you will realize that you are the #1 priority. Distinct if it's the truth or it's just something you can't control. I don't mean when you say, you know, it's the truth and then you change it to please them, alright? No, it means to reflect on it and if it's something you need to change. Be so secure and confident, be proud. Because at the end of the day, other people's opinion, it will slow you down. Good luck, goodbye.